Hi everyone, it is Alex with Holistic Movement Pilates. Today I have a lower body workout for you on the reformer, and it is going to be a stability workout. Now, lower body workout, but the focus is going to be on working muscles that stabilize our pelvis. So very important to do. We are going to start with our foot bars down. We're going to go a medium spring, which is usually pretty good for everyone. I wouldn't go much heavier than that. And then you're going to take your ball, which we are going to use for a prop today, and that ball is going to go into your headrest. Now, first thing that we're going to do is a little sideline series. So focusing more on the outer part of your booty, which will be your glute med and your glute min. Glute med is a very important stabilizer of your pelvis. One of the main things that help stabilize our pelvis. So when we get the ball on our headrest, we're going to lie on our right side. When we lie down onto our right side, we're going to have our head on the ball. And then we're just gonna go ahead and have our hips and shoulders stacked on top of each other. I usually like my butt a little further back for these, so they're just a tiny bit further back than my shoulders. And then I'm gonna go ahead, grab my strap that's out in front of me. The long loop is actually gonna go around our leg above our knee. And then once we get it here, we're gonna just relax both legs out in front of you. Now, knees are bent into 90, which means anytime they're bent into 90, I want the knees directly in front of your hips. They're not bent at a 90 with your knees back behind you like this. So when you're bent, they should be directly in front of your hips. Now, when we're here, we're gonna lift this, like, if you can see my hand, it's gonna glide underneath like my baby ribs. I'm gonna lift my waistline off of the carriage, and I'm gonna try to keep that tiny lift in my waistline. So hopefully you should be almost able to run a hand underneath your waistline there. Think we're not collapsing into that waist. Okay, now carriage is gonna stay still. I like to hold on to my shoulder block with my hands for this. On an exhale, you're gonna lift your left leg up without your hips unstacking, and then we're gonna inhale and return the leg back down. So we're gonna exhale, lift up, and then inhaling again as I return that leg down. Again, the idea is that that carriage is just gonna stay still. Leg stays bent at a 90, hips and shoulders just stay stacked the entire time. Again, we're gonna get into those glute meds, glute mins with this little abduction. Exhale up, inhale back down. Okay, I'm gonna do 3 more here. And 2. And then last one. Okay, when we come down, we can just relax that leg, and then we're gonna go ahead and add in some movement now of our carriage. So the leg will lift back up, pause. You can move into a little more of an external rotation, so my foot is gonna drop down just a little lower than my knee, keeping the hips stacked. I'm gonna inhale, dip my toes down towards my springs, and then I'm gonna exhale, lift back up, inhale, dip, exhaling as we lift. So knee just stays bent at that 90 the entire time. Just imagine you're dipping your toes. You're trying to test if the water is too hot, too cold, and then lifting your leg back up. Dip the toes down, lift back up. Okay, let's do 2 and 1. And then we can relax that leg back down. Now, when we relax down, the last thing that we are going to do here will be circles. Again, the idea is that our hips just stay stacked on top of each other. Keep this little space again from your waistline to the carriage. You are going to lift your left leg back up, pause. Dip the toes back down, pause. You're gonna restack your leg and then lift it back up. So it's a circle. You're dipping, restacking, lifting. It's nice, one fluid motion here. Movement comes right from the head of the femur. Dip, together, lift. Now, when we come together, pause and reverse. You're gonna slide your toes down, lift the leg up, come together, slide down, lift up. Together, you should feel it right in the outer part of your butts here. Dip, lift, and up. Okay, let's do 2 And then last one, might shave a piece of your nose off here. Okay, relax that leg. You are gonna take the strap off your foot. We're gonna hang it up. Now, we're gonna come up onto our hands and our knees. We're gonna face the straps. You can just set the ball off to the side for now. We're gonna stay on this medium spring. If you need to go a little heavier, feel free to add on a light spring with this. Grab the same strap. It's gonna go, I'm gonna go short loop to make this heavier. Short loop onto the arch of my left foot. And then when we set up, we're in a 4-point kneeling position, hands are wide. I have the strap inside my left arm. You can go inside or outside. If it's on the inside, it usually just tends to rub a little less. Okay. On an exhale, we're gonna kick our left leg back slightly up, and then we're gonna bend to come back in. So another stabilizer of that pelvis would be that glute max, hamstrings, and this is what we're trying to work here. Exhale out, little lift. Inhale as we bend, and we come back in. Squeezing our butt every time we push. Think core is always active, so those abs are in. Core is also going to help stabilize your pelvis. Again, it is a lower body workout, but we are gonna feel core most times. You should feel our shoulders working to hold us here. Let's do 3, 2, and 1. Now, when we kick this leg back, we're gonna pause back, flex your foot. Dip the toe straight down to the springs, lift straight up, straight down, straight up. Inhale, dip, exhaling as you lift. You should really feel glute max, hamstring working here. Right where your butt connects your leg, that is the glute max, gluteus maximus. Inhale, dip, exhale, lift. Keep the flex of the foot, abs in. On your forms, if you need to get off of your wrists, you're gonna do 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, take that strap off your foot. Now, rather than doing that little sideline series, we're gonna do the right side first, just so we don't have to reset up for this. So grab your right strap. Again, I went short loop on the arch of my right foot just to make it a little heavier here. Strap is either on the inside or the outside of your right hand. I have it on the inside. 4-point kneeling. Ready? Let's kick that right leg back, slightly up. Bend to come back in. I am trying to keep my hips parallel to the floor with that little lift. So I'm not doing any of this where I push and I rotate my hips out. Try to keep them to the floor, shoulders to the floor. Exhale away, inhale back. Squeeze your booties. Okay, we'll do 4. Last one. Okay, now when we kick it back, we're gonna hold, flex your foot, dip your toe straight down to the springs, lift straight up, straight down, straight up. Inhale, dip, exhale, lift. Again, feeling that glute max, hamstring fire up with these. Okay, let's do 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, relax that leg. I'm gonna take my strap off my foot, hang it up onto the peg, grab the balls. They're gonna go back into our headrest. We're lying on our left side next. And then once we get there, head on the ball, hips should be stacked, shoulders should be stacked. And then I'm just gonna grab the strap again that's out in front of me. Long loop goes around your right leg, all the way around the leg above the knee, so it's on your thigh. Now, once we get here, knees are right in front of your hips. Carriage is gonna stay still for this first round. We're gonna keep it bent at a 90, just lifting our right leg up and down, keeping the hips stacked. Feel free to take your right hand onto your hip just to make sure that they are staying stacked. Exhale up, keep those carriages still. Inhale down. Again, we're gonna get right into that like outer part of your booty. Meet and min here. Two more. And then last one. Now, when we restack the legs, feel free to relax them for a second. Again, the next few, the carriage will be moving. So I'm going to lift my leg up. I'm going to pause. I am in a little more of an external rotation, so my foot is a little lower than my knee. Hips are staying stacked, knee stays bent. We're going to dip the toes, lift the knee back up. So you're just hinging at your hip to dip down, and then lifting, keeping again the hips stacked, knee bent at that 90. You just hinge dip and then lift down and up. Okay, I'm gonna go 3 more, and then we might as well just move into circles right away after these 2. And then last one. Now pause with the leg down, restack the legs, lift back up, dip the toes down for circles, restack, lift, dip, keep those hips stacked. Right from the head of the femur, that circle, again, it should be right in the outer part of your butt, right by that hip bone. Up, down, restack. 2. Last one. Now when we restack, pause, don't relax your leg, but reverse. So think slide your toes down, lift the leg up, restack again. It just stays bent at that 90 the entire time. Movement comes from the head of the femur to move around. Okay, let's do 2 and 1. Ooh, okay, relax your leg down. Not my favorite. You're gonna take that strap off of your foot, hang it back up onto the peg. We're gonna sit ourselves off to the sides. Now, we're gonna keep, again, it's lower body today. So I'm gonna go a heavy and a medium spring on my reformer just because I do want this a little heavier for my legs. If you want to go lighter, we're going to do single leg feet and straps. You could do a heavy and a light instead of a heavy and a medium. Again, I just want to challenge myself a little more with a heavy and medium. Now, pelvic stability is our second focus. So you have the option to continue to use the ball. If you don't feel comfortable stability wise, you do not have to use it. So we will just go ahead, lie ourselves down, balls or no balls. If you have the balls, you're gonna set your feet down out in front of you on the wooden platform. You lift your hips up, and the ball is gonna go underneath our sacrum. So it's not your low back. Well, your sacrum is technically your low back, but it is going to go on your sacrum, which is the lowest part of your back above your tailbone. So it should be on your tailbone too. It should just be shy of your lumbar spine. And your lumbar spine is that lower portion of your back that arcs naturally. So just make sure that you don't wedge it into your lumbar spine. Now, when we get here, make sure that it's in a comfortable position. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to use it. You're going to grab the right strap. The long loop is going to go onto the arch of your right foot. Now, my right leg is going to go straight up to the ceiling. I'm going to hold a neutral position of my pelvis on the ball. Left knee goes up into a tabletop position. On an exhale, you're going to pull your right leg straight down, inhaling as we hinge to go straight up. Exhale down, inhale up. Now think, a lot of the stability of our pelvis here is going to come from our core. So you're going to think a nice active core all over, and then QL should be active too, which are like the lower portion of your back that run up and down the side of that lower piece of your back, which is also a pelvic stabilizer. Exhale, pull, inhale, return. Okay, I'm feeling that heavier spring today. Backs of the legs into the glutes, straight down, straight up. Again, we are not collapsing into our low backs when we come up. We're gonna go 2 and last one. Now when we pull down, hold the leg down, single leg squats. I'm gonna inhale, bend my knee, exhale, push out and squeeze, bend and push out and squeeze. Knees are gonna stay about hip distance away. When I push, if you can see me, I'm like pulling my leg down slightly towards my springs and then back in. So my foot is almost like in line with more of my hip when I push. Exhale out, inhale back. I feel like I can get into my glutes just a little more when I do that little pull and back. Let's do 4. Engage your core on those exhales. Last one. Now when we push out, we're gonna hold our leg long. I would hang on to your shoulder blocks for a little extra stability here. We are gonna open our right leg slightly out to side to circle around and back up. Stay on those balls. The idea, pelvis stays nice and still. We're gonna exhale, go straight down. Inhale, open it slightly out to side to circle around and back up. Think half moon, capital D shape with this leg right from the head of the femur, just like our last little hip circles. Last one. Down, around and up. Now, when we come back up, you're gonna pause, reverse. We're gonna go slightly out to the side, press down around, hinge to come back up. Should feel your adductors there, which is also, they do also help stabilize our pelvis. We have a theme here today. Okay, 2 more. And last one. Ooh. Okay, when we come back up, set your left foot down on either the floor or the wooden platform, foot bar. You can let your right leg go straight up to the ceiling. Give it a nice little tug. If you want to go out to the side, you can. You could go across the body. You could almost do like a little figure 4 stretch if that feels good. Okay, take that strap off of your foot, hang it back up onto the peg, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the left side. So long loop goes onto your foot, leg should just be up as high as you can hold that neutral position. If you're off the ball, you should hold neutral no matter what. If you're on the ball, you should still be able to hold a neutral position of your pelvis. Okay, right leg tabletop, pause. Make sure that your toes are pointed straight up, they're not in or out. Exhale as we pull down with that leg. Inhale, hinge. Right leg stays in tabletop for this entire series. Again, core is active already to help stabilize on the ball, but think about 2 inches underneath your belly button. Those like deep core muscles, transverse abdominals, are drawing in towards your back as you pull. Exhale down, inhale up. I usually like to tell my clients it's almost like you have to like button a tight pair of jeans. I don't usually like to refer it as in like sucking in your gut, but think you have to tighten a tight pair of jeans that rests like right below your belly button. You have to draw your core in and return. 3 more. Okay, last one. Now, when we pull down, we're gonna hold this leg down, single leg squats. Inhale, bend, exhale, push out. Inhale, bend, exhale, push. Again, think almost like pulling your heel slightly down when you go out and in. My knees are gonna stay about hip distance, maybe a little wider than that away. Squeeze those booties. Feel those quads, glutes, hamstrings. Okay, we're gonna do 2 and then last one. Now when you push out, hold. Again, I'm gonna hang on to my shoulder blocks here for a little extra stability, especially with my pelvis on the ball. The leg opens slightly out to the side to circle around and back up. Straight down, slightly out to the side to come around and back up. Again, my right knee just stays right over my hip the entire time. I'm gonna do 2 more. Last one. Okay, now once I come back up, I'm gonna pause and then reverse. So we're gonna go out, press down around, hinge back up. Again, we should feel our adductors here and our thighs. 2 more. Ooh, last one. And up. Okay, so your right foot down, left leg gets a stretch. Again, you can go hamstring, you can open it out to side, you can do a little bend to get into like piriformis for that figure 4 stretch. It is up to you. If you want to take the balls out while you stretch, you can. We're technically done with them. I think I'm going to take mine out. Okay, strap comes off of your foot. You can hang it up, sit yourselves off to these sides. We are all finished with that lower body pelvic stability workout. As always, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me today.